Hey everybody, welcome back to Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking to Akeel Jabber. Akeel, great to see you. Thanks for being on the show today. Looking forward to diving in. HoriZen, you're a founder and investment director at HoriZen Capital. You guys are a global search and SaaS private equity group focused on software investments and privately held businesses. So let's talk about that for a second. But I want to rewind for a minute. Right. Sure. And so I think everybody, 4 million people quit their jobs in April. And so there's a lot of shifts in companies right now. There's a lot of people looking for more fulfillment. Companies like many of the ones that you're working with are trying to kind of figure things out when it comes to recruiting, retention, and things of that nature. And so as a company that invests in other businesses, forget SaaS for a minute, okay, what are some of the things that companies need to be thinking about to retain and recruit great talent?
So talent, I think, is probably the number one challenge and probably the number one lever you can have in any business. If I'll find the right person, I know you hire A players. I think that makes or breaks your company. What you can do to find better talent, I don't retain talent. I think just treating them with respect, treating them, valuing them for what they are, what they bring to the table, listening to them. It sounds so simple, but financially is one thing, but that's not always the biggest motivator. Pay them, respectable wages of what they're worth, market rate or above. At least that's the minimum. And then just listen and give them opportunity to shine, give them opportunity to grow, give them the support and respect that they need. I think is probably the biggest thing. If people join companies, they leave. Bosses, you hear that all the time. I think if you're a good boss who treats your employees with respect and care and like a friend and actually wants them to develop and wants them to grow, I think it'll go a long way. And that's what I found to be the best way to retain talent.
Yeah, I agree. People leave managers, not necessarily companies. All right, so let's talk about you, because I love talking about how businesses can scale. You guys match capital with SaaS businesses, right? Where you look at businesses where you can make the most amount of impact, where you can scale a business, where you can, get a return not only for the owners, but the investors as you optimize all the different angles of the business. And so what are some of the things you see when you're looking at a company, some of the mistakes they've made when it comes to scaling? Let's start there.
So a couple of things they'll make. The one thing I see a lot of, because our sweet spot is generally in that 500K ARR to about 5 million. So that's where we play nicely. They're starting to get product market fit. They've done a really good job, built a solid product, but they do almost zero marketing. And I don't know why. They just, they like that because they're probably very tech focused entrepreneurs. They've done a really good job building product. They've grown organically. But they like to hide behind the actual product and code and let them do the work. They don't want to do the sales. They're scared to market. And I think that happens a lot. Like a founder will come to us and be like, no, we still need to develop this feature. Give us a few more months, and then we'll be ready to go out and start doing marketing. It's like, why? You are growing. You've shown that you have clients that are interested. They're sticking around. Your churn is low. You have a good product. Your traffic is growing. But let's just really add fuel to the fire. Let's grow it. Invest in some marketing. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you don't want to do it, then we'll be that partner who handles that for you. And so I think that's a mistake a lot of people make, is just they're not, they're very focused on product and they hide behind it instead of just, you have to include marketing, from day one as part of your plan as well.
Yeah. Marketing, the way I define it is, how you get people in the door. Right. And so it's like branding is kind of getting out there where you can, it's what people say about you when you're not around. Marketing is getting people in the door to actually purchase. And then PR is, getting in the media outlets so you can, build your credibility. And so when you see, because I agree with you, I don't think enough companies do enough marketing. They wait till sometimes the perfect time. But sometimes, when your message, your product, you can actually start marketing, before the movie's fully made, or
exactly.
Right, sometimes before it's made. So talk about that, when you to the company that's listening and they're stuck in the process of the product and the this and the that, where do you start marketing and what type of marketing do you do?
I'll say this, broadly, but I think it depends. So when it comes to B2B SaaS, it depends if you're, SMB focused, if you're mid-market focused, you're enterprise focused. I mean, all of them have different strategies. A playbook that we like to focus on, generally where we come in is probably conversion rate optimization. We like the quick wins, areas that are not very tapped or very focused on. So, a lot of these sites maybe they're getting a lot of traffic. They've built a lot of organic or SEO, traffic, referral traffic, and they obviously have a way of how they've generated leads and sales to their business as it is. But they haven't done anything in terms of like testing, their homepage of, how optimizing conversions there, their pricing model. I think that's the biggest undervalued and underrated way you can do is, test your pricing, different pricing packages, and you'll probably get better results on who you really want to focus and understand your ICP, your ideal customer profile, just by making a few tweaks and understanding your persona. And you can do that through another ways. One is like just doing a segmentation of for example, your churn. So, for your SaaS company, you go in and break down, okay, segment the churn based on the different level of user seats of your customer. So, for example, anything below 5, like we've seen this, people say, hey, 12% churn. But then if we break it down and we look at, okay, the 2 different segments of what the type of customers they have, one are users, let's say generally, who have less than 5 users, seats for their product, and then one's 5 plus. You'll see like churn being, 15% for the ones under. Maybe it's like 1 or 2% for the ones 5 and above. So, okay, now you're understanding like, okay, there's a real value here of your product, but it's not here. You should actually be focused on these guys right here. Let's maybe, adjust the plan. Let's focus on a higher tier plan. And, they generally have just 1 or 2 plans. Let's actually create a bigger plan, because this is where you want to focus, and this is where you want to optimize for and build your product for and market for, because, we've been spending our time on the wrong people here.
Yeah. It's interesting. You bring up, I think, such a fundamental problem of sometimes people have a product, but they don't know if somebody will actually buy it and or what they will actually pay for it. Mm-hmm. And so, and that's just kind of, you don't even have to hire a big firm to figure that out. You can just talk to the key clients that are out there and just, kind of be proactive with that. But it is amazing that is something that is, that's something that fundamental is overlooked. They think sometimes, well, we have a product, this really fits, but unless you talk to the people, you don't know exactly the nuance of where it fits and where the pain, what they would pay to fill that void and answer the pain. So I love what you're talking about.
And just one point to add to that, and maybe a mistake people do is like, early on we talk about, people doing customer interviews when they're trying to develop their product. You go and do market research, interview 1,000 people, right, to understand your product. But you should be actually doing that. I love to do it actually, while you're growing as well. Like, don't be afraid to, like same thing. Don't hide behind the give on the call and just schedule those interviews, or just chat with the clients again, right? Those customers, get on the call and just say, I want to ask you a couple of questions, and maybe just give them a little discount or throw them a gift card for their time. So I think that's another thing you can do.
Right. And fundamental questions. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Do you find value? What kind of ROI are you seeing with it? I think people are afraid to get feedback and not know what to do with that feedback, or take it personally. And so it takes a little bit of courage. It takes a little proactiveness and consistency, but absolutely. Okay. So let's talk about you. So, you're a founder and investment director at HoriZen Capital. Kind of rewind. I'm a big believer that success is not a straight line. How did you get here? Give us the 1-minute Reader's Digest version, Akeel. I know your life is probably more extensive than a 1 minute, but give us a 1-minute Reader's Digest version to inspire other people on, walking their path.
So you mentioned a lot of people quitting their jobs, probably in a job they're in right now. I'm actually a petroleum engineer turned entrepreneur. So I actually worked in the white collar industry for several years, and I think I made that full-time leap almost 7 years ago. But even while I was in university, I launched my own first business, a recruitment firm, hiring for tech talent. But my passion is really around how to increase my cash returns from the money I was making to replace my income. Mm-hmm. So I think when I was about 17 years old, I learned some hard mistakes by investing in the stock market. That was kind of my first ladder of getting in the game, but learned a lot of mistakes. We could probably talk about that. And then I stepped up, moved into different cash generating assets. Controlling your own income, time, leveraging debt effectively, use some of the cash, and started investing in real estate, which I still have in Canada. But I'm about 25 years old at the time. I wanted results fast, right? So with real estate, I think it's good, but I think I look at it more of like a 20-year return. So I need something quicker. Moved up, not straight line, but next move was moving into physical businesses. So actually, I have a franchise gym in Canada as well. So that's where I learned about recurring revenues, LTV, churn, all those things still apply with different contracts. But I felt the limitation of that model, right? You're physically dependent, super expensive to scale. Every time you want to grow another location, you're spending $500,000, $1 million. Still a good business. That's still 5 to 10 year return. But that's when I really learned about digital and online businesses. I bought my first online business at the time from Empire Flippers. I think it was an affiliate website for less than $50,000, and I was hooked. That's where I learned about conversion rate optimization, SEO, managing teams remotely, email marketing, all that good stuff. And that's around where I quit my job. I joined a firm at the time called Wired Investors, which I admire, and they gave me a lot of tools and resources and support where they were doing acquisitions of a lot bigger companies. I came in as a role of a CEO of at the time of a company called $99 Social, and within 5 months of running that company, I was able to double the earnings and bottom line for the company, for the investors, including myself on that company. Moved up to be kind of group CEO of all these SaaS companies. So I was working closely with the CEOs of each of the SaaS portfolio companies and helping them implement different growth strategies. And then about 2 years ago, I left that group and I decided to focus on launching HoriZen Capital, where we really only focus on SaaS companies, B2B SaaS, and that's become our area of expertise. And that's where now we have that path where we partner with founders who really want to look to scale, take their business to the next level, and provide whatever the financial resources at the right time if needed.
Love it. I love it. I love it. That's a great, it's like you can't map that out exactly. And you just got to kind of follow your gut and your instincts kind of along the way of what's in front of you. And so my question is, how did you know as in maybe in the moment or in hindsight, what that next step would be? And what was the push that you knew you had to kind of like make a move? Because I think sometimes people get stuck and complacent.
So all I can say is at the time, what I knew is this is not what I did. This is not what I wanted. I mean, so answering that question of to get to know what you really want, you have to know what you don't want.
Yeah.
And only by doing it and going through it, you'll know if that next thing is the right thing for you. So I thought I wanted this, and then it's like I can keep thinking about if like this is the perfect thing for me and overanalyze it and get stuck and like no wait, I think I have to tweak it, or no, I think this is actually better, and then you overthink it and then you waste all this time. It's like, this is what I think the next thing is. You know what? I'm gonna go try it. Let's just do it. What do I have to lose? Like let's think it out, plan it out properly. And if I don't like it, that's fine. I don't have to do this forever. I can go on to the next thing. But then once you find something you really like, which I found with this for right now, it could be it's been 2 years. I'm still loving it, but maybe in a couple of years I want to do something else.
Yeah.
But while I'm still loving it, I'm going to double down on it. I'm going to give it real focus.
Yeah.
And give it my all, right? And I think that's where once you find that, just go all in on it.
I find, I love it. Double down, go all in. I feel the same way. As a business coach, my business is my business, and I love it. I double down on it all the time. I think it's great.
Nice.
All right, Akeel, you ready for a quick speed round?
Let's do it.
All right, favorite book and why?
You want to do it quickly? Can I give a quick longer answer here?
Sure.
Because I'm very wary about giving book recommendations, because I feel if you give a wrong recommendation at the wrong time to a person's life, it actually sets them back more than forward. So I'm very careful. But one I love, I say Good to Great by Jim Collins.
It's great. That's a great book. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Recently, I think what I just mentioned is just focus on one thing, and once you find something, like I said, double down on it.
Yeah. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody needs to do if they're stuck and know they need to double down is
speak to others who are doing what you want to do.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
Tell everybody your ideal client and how they can get in touch with you, Akeel.
Sure. So if you're a B2B SaaS founder, doesn't matter, what you're focused on, how fast you're growing, all the above, as long as you need help in your growth, between 500K, at least 500K in ARR, come speak to us, reach out to me or us at HoriZenCapital.com, and we'll see how we can help you.
I love it. Akeel, I appreciate you being on the show. A lot of nuggets, a lot of wisdom. I love talking to people who are in a great place, loving what they do, doubling down on what they do. And share their kind of journey along the way, and talking about how you don't know what you love to do until you know what you don't love to do. And that takes time, and you can't read that in a book. You just kind of, walk through that. So I appreciate your time. Think community. If Akeel can help you, please reach out. Akeel, thanks, man. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you.